I needed that after what I've just been reading. Oh dear. The Bank of England governor, Andrew Bailey, who replaced Mark Carney. Well, that was a loss, I must say. But anyway, we've got Andrew Bailey. And now he's speaking up, he is, against the Brexit. Now, I always thought he was a Brexiter. Now he's saying it, it's for the British people to make that decision. You know, in the 2016 Brexit referendum. Well, last time I looked, he is British. Yeah, he was born in Leicester. But now he's saying that the Brexit is causing economic difficulties for the UK, especially in the banking sector. Yeah, it's hit the UK's economic openness, he says. Yeah. The Bank of England governor says that. Not me, but the Bank of England governor. He's the guy who's in charge of the money. Well, oh dear. So the governor of the Bank of England has called for a greater cooperation on financial rule-making, warning that Brexit has affected the openness of the UK economy. Now, Rishi Sunak is trying to pull out of the governance that is utilised by pretty much every other bank except the UK, or the UK wants to pull out of it, especially on lending and what have you. Now, this is all very well, you see, for the UK. You might think, so, well, that's good for the UK. It's not. The UK has to work on a level playing field with all the other countries it wants to do business with. Not to be an outlier. No. Doesn't help. Not if you want, external foreign investment. So, in an apparent swipe at those calling for the UK to develop a separate rulebook, such as Rishi Sunak, for banking and insurance activities. But don't forget, the UK has pretty much scuppered itself anyway, because it can't trade, financial markets or whatever, with the EU anymore. Since it lost bank passport and memorandums of understanding, it's all gone to pot. And what's going to happen when the UK loses the euro clearing? That's going to be rather expensive, you know. Well, Andrew Bailey, he said free trade needed strong regulation based on agreements with foreign watchdogs. Level playing field again. Speaking in Dublin at the Financial Services Conference organised by the Irish Central Bank, he argued against trade protectionism and regulatory fragmentation. Like I said, level playing field. Oh dear. Well, as a public official, I can take no position on Brexit, he says. I think you did, mate. Per se. He said it was a decision for the British people. Or the people of the United Kingdom. I should laugh because this is so serious, really, but it's just such a mess. If you didn't laugh, you'd cry. You really would. However, he added, it has led to a reduction in the openness of the UK economy, though over time new trade relationships around the world should, and I expect will, be established. Of course, that requires commitment to openness and fair trade. If you're talking about the WTO, for instance, you have to work on, it's kind of like an agreement. Think of the WTO as a big board meeting and everyone has to agree. You can't trade in different rules. It doesn't work like that. Oh dear. Bailey said he hoped to see further closer regulatory cooperation with Irish counterparts to minimise fragmentation of financial markets after Brexit. One day, maybe. Well, the governor is known to be concerned that a series of panics in financial markets since COVID-19 pandemic was declared in early 2020 have required a strong central bank intervention. This is, when we look at, for instance, the value of the pound and stuff, a lot of it is about perception, about, they think it's not going to be worth very much, so, we'll devalue it. Or something has happened which devalues it, such as Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng. Oh, what a bunch of...
Kipper!
Oh, well, let's turn that volume down a bit. It's an absolute flippin' mess it is. They said financial investments, known as money market funds, which lubricate buying and selling in short-term securities were especially vulnerable and needed to be overseen by more robust international agreements. Not less robust, more. Remember, this is the Bank of England governor. Speaking out now, he is. Now, in answer to questions about health of the UK economy, Bailey said he was optimistic. Well, what does that mean? It means he hopes. It's wishful thinking, you could say. That the inflation would fall back to the 2% target within 2 years. It's just optimism. Where's the logic in that? Okay, he's going to hold the interest rates up as long as he possibly can. She says here, now the interest rates are at a 15-year high of 5.25%, would most likely need to stay elevated for longer to make that happen. He says the policy is going to have to be restrictive for an extended period to see the second half out, which is where the policy is going to have to do work to bring inflation back to the target, 2%. And I believe it's going to happen, he says. He told the Dublin conference. Our forecast suggests that we will be back at that target, 2% target, in around the 2-year horizon. I'm optimistic, he says. I think, he says. There's nothing, set in stone here. No, it's just guesstimation, he pretty much said. He says we've got to continue doing the work to make that happen. And what will happen is house prices potential fall. At the moment, they're artificially held, sort of stabilised at the moment, actually. In fact, they've increased a little bit because there's a massive shortage of properties. And when Labour get in and they say go build all these houses, we are going to that protection for the property market is going to diminish. If Labour does manage to build all these houses, I've got my doubts there as well, as you probably know. But if it does, this is going to go to pot. Yeah, more houses, more supply, lower prices. The property market will potentially come down, which is good for those who need to buy a house and haven't already got one. But when you're moving from one house to the next and you've got to sell your property, you might be in a bit of a situation, especially in the middle of a property price fluctuation. So, we'll see what happens, won't we? And you tell me, please leave it in the comments down below. I just thought I'd share that with you because it seems quite interesting to me. But finally seeing what Andrew Bailey maybe actually thinks. Or is he just trying to cover his own ass? Maybe. Well, you tell me, leave in the comments down below. But also, please boot the old like button. And if you want to support the channel, you can do it on Patreon or buy us a coffee. And there's memberships as well. There's also super thanks down below as well. But otherwise, links are in the description. And I couldn't do the channel without your help. That I couldn't. Somebody's got to tell it as it is. Because one thing I won't do is lie. No, I might make mistakes, but I won't lie. No, I won't. Had enough of that, haven't we? That we have. Oh my giddy aunt, let me just. Anyway, it's time for me to go and say to Toodaloo. I moved it, didn't I? Toodaloo. Giddy aunt, let's bash myself with my own microphone. Ooh, so saucy.